Hi all, my name is Ryan and welcome to my channel What the Pop, where we discuss pop culture in general and Buffy a lot. If you like what I do, please like, subscribe and click the notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new video. If you have friends that like Buffy, share it with them. It all helps the algorithm, and consider supporting the channel through our Patreon. The usual spoiler alert. I may talk about things in these analyses that relate to future plot points. So if you haven't seen all of Buffy at least once and don't like spoilers, I suggest you like the channel, then come back once you've seen it all. Today we are looking at the accusation that Buffy basically equates being attractive with being good, and the opposite, that being ugly means you are evil. Buffy has been accused of using attractiveness as a measure of overall goodness. Superficially, it could be argued that Buffy is a result of Hollywood, and society in general has an inherent bias towards people who are attractive. Now, Buffy is a highly moralistic show, often with rather black and white depictions of good and evil, and it has been argued that this is rather simplistically shown by the faces of the monsters and heroes. Are you pretty? Yes. You're a hero, side of good. Are you ugly? Yes, you're a monster, side of evil. It's a rather facile way of saying that doing bad stuff makes you ugly. But is Buffy really that monochrome? From a superficial viewing, it would be pretty easy to draw this conclusion. Just take a look at the rogues gallery of Buffy's demons and you realise that yes, demons are mostly evil and demons are ugly. Moloch the Corruptor, reptilian skinned with ram horns and squished bat-like nose. Ugly. Norman Fister, giant pile of bugs and a door-to-door salesman. Ugly. The Judge, giant blue smurf with bad skin and horns. Ugly. Baltazar, giant fat blob in a tub that needs to be moistened constantly. Ugly. So it would seem that if you're ugly, you are probably evil, or at least bad. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the opposite is true. However, if we look at some of the good guys from Buffy, that pattern does seem to emerge. Buffy herself is hot, blonde, perky, pretty, good clothes, kicks ass, total babe. Willow is cuteness personified, absolutely adorkable. Xander is pretty damn hunky for a supposed social outcast. I mean, we all remember him in Go Fish. Riley is about as perfect an example of a hot Iowa farm boy as you can get. Giles, even Giles is pimping for an old dude. I say old dude ironically, as Anthony Stewart Head in the first season of Buffy is about as old as I am now. So does this simple dichotomy of pretty equals good and ugly equals bad hold true? Is Buffy really that facile? I don't think it is, and a deeper look into Buffy suggests quite the opposite. We see this as early as episode 3, Witch, Amy's mother, who steals her daughter's body in order to relive her own youth in the hope of recapturing her glory days, is by all factors bad, but she's by no means ugly. Now if we look at an episode like Season 2's Reptile Boy, sure, we get Makita, the giant grotesque half-snake man as the demon, granting power and wealth to the boys in the fraternity. But the evil in this episode isn't being committed by Makita, it's being committed by the frat boys, who are sacrificing people to him. And the frat boys are seemingly helmed by the extremely attractive Richard Anderson, but are actually being led by the also attractive and far more evil Todd Babcock. Both are very attractive men doing horrendous things, and they apparently have a soul. In a similar situation, in Season 3's episode The Prom, Buffy has to deal with hellhounds. But hellhounds are a foot soldier. They have to be trained and directed by someone else. And in this case, that is a person, Tucker Wells. Someone who was also not ugly, but still evil. He wanted people to die because he got rejected. In the same season, you had the episode Revelations and the introduction of Gwendolyn Post, Faith's new Watcher. She manipulated everyone to obtain the glove of Minigan, which she then used to try and kill everyone. She was one of the catalysts for Faith's own turn to the dark side, as Faith was taken advantage of and used by her. Again, not ugly, but definitely evil. Add Ethan Rayne, Nathan Fillion's evil preacher Caleb, Eliza Dushku's faith when she goes bad, and we've already seen that on multiple occasions they hadn't followed the simple template of attractive equals good, ugly equals bad. In the Season 2 episode Lie to Me, which we'll analyse next episode, Giles actually makes a flippant comment on this very topic, clearly being very sarcastic as he says, "Yes, it's terribly simple. The good guys are always stalwart and true, the bad guys are easily distinguished by their pointy horns or black hats, and we always defeat them and save the day." Clearly the writers never believed that it was ever so black and white. Now examples of the opposite, ugly equals good, are few and far between. You have demons like Clem, who is ugly yet good, though he does gamble with kittens. He does not kill, and is a friend to the Scoobies and later the potential Slayers. But the reason examples are few and far between, and why Buffy would seldom see demons that were good, is because Buffy was only concerned with demons that are doing evil things. So it makes sense she would seldom encounter demons just going about their lives not being evil. Further to that, there are a few examples of demons that are little more than animals. Their actions aren't motivated by any notions of good or evil, merely acting on bestial impulse. Werewolves in Buffy are a good example of this. For 3 nights out of the month, they turn into a beast that is a slave to its instincts, and that usually means to hunt. It's not an active choice, it's not a question of good or evil, it just is. It is no more evil than a normal wolf, and that is the case for many demons in the Buffy universe. I think a lot of the reading of this basic dichotomy comes from the show's titular demon, the vampire, and I haven't mentioned them until now for this specific reason. In Buffy, vampires have 2 faces, their human face and their vampiric visage. As such, you can see when a vampire is being evil, it is literally written on their face. There is no beauty in Buffy's vampires after they've vamped out and gone all fangy. They're certainly not like Twilight's Edward Cullen. But the reason for the vamp face was far more practical. Whedon commented that he felt he couldn't have Buffy constantly killing vampires that looked like regular people. He thought it would be a bit more palatable to audiences if they looked like monsters instead, and that stabbing regular looking people in the heart could be a little darker than intended. But even this direct contrast between a human face and a vamp face breaks down under even the most perfunctory analysis. The main vampires in Buffy do a lot of their evil scheming wearing their human face. They may vamp out for the kill, but that's only the end point of their evil. In direct contrast to this, in earlier episodes in the series, in Angel's character, and in later series in Spike, they vamp out most of the time that they enter into a fight against anyone. So even when they enter a fight on the side of good, they are wearing the ugly face. A good example of this is again in Reptile Boy, when Angel, Giles and Willow turn up at the frat house and Angel vamps out before they enter the fight. This makes the end of Season 2 quite interesting when looking at the face of evil. In the big fight near the end, you have Spike fighting Drusilla and Buffy versus Angel. What's most notable about this fight is that Spike, Drusilla and Angel never vamp out. This is Angel at his most evil. He is in the process of opening a portal to drag everything living on the earth into a hell dimension, and at no point while he's doing it is he vamped out. He's just wearing Angel's extremely handsome countenance the whole time. In this situation, in a major way, Pretty is definitely evil. Now if Angel's trying to end the world while wearing his human visage broke the idea that ugly equals bad and pretty equals good, it is completely shattered in Season 5 with the introduction of Glorificus, who is known as Glory and played by the very attractive Claire Kramer. She's essentially an evil god version of Buffy. Glory has no redeeming features. She's not sometimes good. As such, she has nothing that would justify her being beautiful if that simple pretty equals good dichotomy existed. But the biggest kick to the teeth to the idea that Buffy has such a simplistic expression of good and evil is seen in the first, or rather it isn't seen, and that's my point. The first made its debut in the Season 3 episode Amends, trying to push Angel to kill Buffy, and when he wouldn't do that, to kill himself. As the leading contender for the Shanshu prophecy, it would get Angel off the board. Angel's attempt fails when heavy snowfall prevents the rising sun from immolating him. In that episode, Giles says, "You can't fight the first Buffy, it's not a physical being." In Season 7, when the first evil is the big bad, it is mutable. It appears as dead people, as non-corporeal apparitions. Most of those apparitions are of people who are quite attractive. Now, it could be argued that we do see the first when it communicates with Caleb, but I believe that this was as much an apparition as all the others. Again, in Amends, the first appearing as Jenny Calendar says to Buffy, "I'm not a demon, little girl. I am something that you can't even conceive." And what appears to Caleb is very much a fairly regular looking, easy to conceive of horned demon. So it is unlikely that it is what the first actually looks like. So in a show that has been accused of using ugliness to depict moral decay and attractiveness as a means of conveying someone's overall morality, the first evil, the biggest of the big bads, is neither attractive or ugly. It has no face at all. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this look into the Buffyverse, please like, subscribe to the channel, and consider supporting us through the Patreon. If you've disagreed with anything I said, or have anything else I missed, please put it in the comments below, and I will see you next video.